Okay, it's live. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hello, hello.
I have comments coming in, but I want to say, since we have it going live to both of our YouTube channels and also to the Facebook group, I am not 100% sure that it's going to pull in comments from Facebook, because I don't know if Facebook lets us do that. So we'll see
Okay.
as they're coming in. If there's a little Facebook thing on there, I'll tell you I can see them.
Okay,
But
perfect. Yeah, we've never done the Facebook before, so trying something new.
yes, we're going to try something new and see if more people will come and talk about the books with us. So I see Alexandra George is here. Estelle is here. The Rainbow Turned Galaxy. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
Excited to start up again, though I only started 11/22/63 and never got to December's book when we weren't sure what was going on. Okay, no worries. Oh, a Facebook person just said hi.
Oh, good. We announced December's book though. Yeah, it was easy. It was an easy read. Go read it if you didn't, because it's so good.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. So I have Facebook user now. I don't know why it's not telling me that person's name. That may be the thing that Facebook is not going to let us see, because all it's coming through says Facebook user. So say your name. If you are commenting from Facebook, say, hey, this is bleep, and then we'll know.
Remember that song?
I do. I remember that. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Darlene.
Hi, Sherry.
Yep, and we got Mary Jane and Gina. We got Amy. And good. Okay, so we have people coming in. That's good. That's good news.
Hi, Leah.
Tell us what you guys have been doing. Have you guys been reading other books? Hopefully, we can get our Facebook group going again more now that the I'm Linda Young. Hi, Mom. Mom's on Facebook.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, Leah. It's Lynn.
We had 3 people say that they would help us be moderators. So I'll try and get with them this week and maybe do a group text, and then we can get them on board and kind of figure out, maybe they can each take a day a week, or maybe they can take a week out of the month or something. We'll figure out. So
that would be very helpful. So thank you, everyone, for everyone who volunteered for that. Thank you. That was very, very helpful to us. Okay, so we both read both of the books, and we're excited to talk about them. KRISTY's got questions, so we're gonna go that way.
I gotta tell you, I read 11/22/63 so long ago that I was like, I could tell you what happened in the story, but character names were not coming to me. So I was like, let me just pull up a discussion thing.
Oh, I'm so glad you did that, because I can have just finished the book and I still don't remember people's names. So now I'm definitely the same. So, yeah, I could tell you what happened pretty much, but like you said, people, bloop, right out there.
All right. So how did everybody like 11/22/63? Aside from the fact that it was super long.
You know what? It was super long, but I thought that they made real good use of the time. Like, nothing, I didn't feel like there were, there's all this stuff that, could have been left out. I didn't feel that way at all. Like, I really enjoyed this book. And I never got into Stephen King. So I was very pleasantly surprised by the story, how it went, and the funny thing is I guess I kind of thought, because of the date and because of what we knew what was happening in the book, that there was going to be a whole lot more in it about JFK, but there really was such a small amount about JFK.
More about Jackie, I feel like, than JFK even.
Yeah, and it's just interesting. Yeah, because, other people, I think that there were some people who were saying, oh, I'm not sure I want to read it because I never got into JFK, but it really wasn't about that. It was more about the guy's life and how it like pulled him through all of this stuff, and it ended up being like just so little about JFK. I mean, it was more about him and how it affected him, like all the different things. I just really enjoyed the book a lot.
I loved the writing. I loved it. And I have never read anything Stephen King because I'm not like I don't like scary stuff.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't just write scary stuff, but that's what he's known for. So I just haven't really even explored anything. So if anybody has any good recommendations of other books that are not creepy or, you know, scary,
Right.
let me know, because I have to say I really enjoyed the writing. I thought he did a good job. I love the detail that he put into it. I actually did not read the book. I listened to it.
Me too.
Yeah, because I drive almost an hour between back and forth to work, so it just made sense to just go ahead and do that. And I was listening to it at work. I'd be doing shipment in the back, and my boss would walk in, and he's like, "You're still listening to that?" It took like 31 hours or something to read, but I really liked it. I loved. There were things that I never thought of, like when he went actually back in time, and he said it just smells different. Everything smells, different, or everything tastes so much better because it doesn't have all the chemicals in it, or like all the little things that you wouldn't think about. I think he handled really well through the story. I really liked it. I think you got to push through it, but it's really good. And I liked toward the end when he started counting down the days. Like he'd say 11, 16, 63.
Right.
As he was down closer and closer, I was like, okay, we're getting there. And I loved that how much he loved being back in that time and being without a cell phone and being without, but also missing the cell phone. Like, there's a couple situations where he was in a hairy state where he was like,
yeah,
I couldn't just pick up my cell phone and the ambulance would be here, or pick up, so I don't know. I loved it.
I really did too. And I just popped up the comment from Alexandra where she says it did have some elements of his classic horror, but was not a horror book. And I think that statement, Alexandra, is perfect, because the things that I do, like, I think I only read 2 other Stephen King books. And the reason why I never picked them up again was I actually do like the horror genre, but the thing that I didn't like about his books sometimes were just some things just seem so incredulous to me in his books. But what I do know is that he is an excellent writer. So that's the thing, is that I really appreciated in this book just how well he can craft a story. And I think that it's that same thing, sort of like what Alexandra said, where it's like I need to read more of his books, because my taste might have changed a little bit at this point. Like, maybe I could have more of an appreciation of like how he writes his novels, because I definitely picked that up when I was listening to this book, is that he is just such a natural crafter of a story, So I think I definitely want to try something else. Now, I don't say I'm going to be completely switched over to a Stephen King, super fan or anything, but I want to read something else because I want to see.
Me too. It left me wanting more of him, from him, for sure. So let's talk about the main character, Jake Epping, or Al. Should we start with Al, of famous Al's Diner?
Yeah. Okay.
Could you wonder, like, how did he find this mystery stairs? Was he just walking in?
They never said, right? They never said how he found it, right? Because I don't remember that. And I would if you had remembered why he ended up finding that, I would love to hear that story, because, I mean, how's that happen?
Yeah, he must have just stepped in the right place at the right time, but I can't imagine. And he's been going for years and years and years, because they said that he served cat meat burgers because his hamburgers were so cheap.
Right.
And to keep that secret for so long was pretty incredible. And I understand his fear, because I think if the government found a way to go back and try and change things, there could be some going on. So I think he was smart to keep it to himself, but I also thought, I don't know if I could have kept a secret that big.
Yeah, that's quite a secret. Although maybe he just spent, like, because when he would be gone, and if he were gone, he could be gone for what, like 5 years, and he'd come back, and it would be like a split second, So
yeah.
Can you imagine? I mean,
something he was gone like 2 minutes every time or something.
Yeah, and I mean, can you imagine how long he must have really lived? I mean, or how it must have felt to him, like to have like this whole other life and then come back and he's still right where he was, and then
all the people that he could have told. Why do you think he told Jake?
Right.
Why? Because I mean, he was a customer, but they hadn't really hung out or done anything like that. He knew he was a high school teacher, but I wonder what made him choose, out of all the people in his life. It didn't sound like he had a lot of people in his life, but interesting that he picked this history teacher, I guess.
Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah. And my question is, if you could go back in time, anytime, would you? Would you choose to go back in time?
If it were in that situation, oh gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, when you on the surface of it, you think, oh, that would be like so cool, but the thought that you could change like the smallest thing and have it with these huge repercussions for later, I don't know. I mean,
he freaked out just when he put the new dime in the phone bank, and he was like, oh my gosh, thank God it spit it out, because that could set, he was like, it could have been written up in the papers, it could have been,
right,
every little thing that he did, was interesting.
Yeah,
maybe Sherry says maybe he fell through it. Maybe he seemed trustworthy, but I have a question about that. So yes, he does seem trustworthy in the book. He seems like a really good guy. But he had no trouble cheating at gambling to be able to live. He had no trouble when he had to commit murder.
Right.
Does that make him a good guy still? Is it extenuating circumstances? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I don't know that I could do those things.
I could not have.
Like if you're like, finding out that the reason you're being told is so that you go through and you kill someone, I'm like, I don't think I could do that. But I don't know. We never know, right? I mean, I guess it's in all of us in some kind of way, maybe. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. I don't know.
I don't know that I would want to go back in time. Personally, I don't know that I would have.
Can I just say that they were talking about making Back to the Future again, and do you know what year they said he would go back to?
What?
You're not gonna. You're no. Like 93. 93. I've heard that, and I was like, oh my goodness. You've got to be kidding me right now. I know. I should have thrown that in there. But, yeah.
But maybe he thought Jake didn't have much to lose because he didn't have any kids and he was divorced, which is a good point, too.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when this surprised me, and I want to know if it surprised anybody else, because it really shocked me, and I don't know why. I thought Jake was much older in the book, and then he said he was 35, and I was like, 35? It read that to me, the character read older.
Me
but
too.
I don't know. It was before he met Sadie. that I thought he was older, but the whole time after I knew he was 35, I was like, I still picture him as being like, I don't know, maybe my age, but then it would make sense that he was younger once he met Sadie. But did anybody else? Yeah, he acted like he was older. Yeah, Sherry says that too. So when he said 35, I was like, wait. Even the guy that read the book sounded a little bit older to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was like a minor detail that kind of shocked me. Maybe it was because Stephen King is writing from his perspective as an, he is a little bit older. I don't know if that bled through. I don't know. Anyway,
that's possible. Hi, Nita.
I like that he decided he was going to go back and try and change. What was his student's name? Harry Dunning.
Yeah.
Harry Dunning's father. He was going to try and stop that whole thing. And that was going to be his deciding factor as to whether or not he would do the JFK thing. But I also thought it was interesting. It took me, there was a little bit of a mind game with me trying to keep up with all the little details from going past and forward, and then figuring out, like, Al went back and changed the gunman's, stayed with the gunman so he didn't kill the little girl, but it really didn't change the little girl's life. There wasn't much that changed in her life. I don't know. I thought that was interesting because it makes you think, like, oh, well, nothing much happened with that one thing. Like, the yearbook didn't change that much.
Right.
I don't know.
But what I forgot was how if you go back in, it erases everything from before. So now that I'm remembering that, I might actually go in. Like the first time at least, knowing that if I went in just for a sec, that it would reset everything. So if I totally screwed everything up, I could like go back in for 5 minutes or something. I don't know.
I think it took him a little while to figure out that actually was a change that happened, that he had reset everything every time he went back. Because he went back like weekly to get the meat.
Right. Well, I wonder if he didn't figure that out the first time he went back again.
I don't think so. I think somehow I can't remember how he figured that out, but I don't think it was right away. Because he was telling Jake about it.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was also interesting that the bigger the thing that you were going to change, the more time fought against him.
Right.
And
like hard too.
Yeah, it fought against Al a little bit with the tree falling and the flat tire when he was trying to stop the shooter from shooting the girl, the accident. But then when Jake was trying to stop Lee Harvey Oswald, holy cow.
Right?
Dude
almost got killed.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So,
what did we think of Sadie? Did we love Sadie?
Oh my goodness, I loved Sadie so much. And honestly, like, think about it. If something like that ever happened to you, I feel like to give her much credit because she was totally open and didn't just
she got back with him.
Yeah, I mean, and she just was like, she was supporting him, then we're gonna do this, let's do this, now he did have, things that he could put forward to say, this is gonna happen and you're gonna see, and but, I mean, she could have just said, you're crazy,
together. I love how open she was with him.
The dancing. I loved the dancing.
Even telling him like about her first husband and the whole like sexual encounter things. I think she was so brave for that time to tell him that. And
I thought it was going to be much worse, though. I have to tell you. By the time, I mean, not that what she said wasn't bad, but I just I kept conjuring all these other things in my head, and so I was glad it wasn't that bad. But it was like, whoa.
And I have to say, I didn't like either way that he had to leave Sadie. I wanted them to be together.
I was in tears at the end so many times.
Yeah, it had to be that way.
I know.
Yeah.
And I know you're right. Yeah. I know he wrote it the way it had to be written. I know that. But I think that it's a testament also to how beautiful that story was, that I just was so heartbroken at the end. You knew it had to be that way. You knew it, but
I do like that he got to see her as an old woman. He got to go back and see her.
Oh, that was so heart-wrenching too, though. That whole end, I was just crying almost the whole time. I was just like, this is crazy. Yeah. And I wanted something different. I knew it couldn't be that way, but if he had written it another way, I might have been happier, but it wouldn't have been right. It just wouldn't have been right. He did the right thing. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's saying, but she did get killed, but then he reset everything, so she didn't end up being killed, which was so good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
But they were each other's true love, so that, just broke my heart. It broke my heart for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really, really sad.
I am glad that he made the decision, even though it broke his heart to have to go back and not be with her. I think that the right thing was to not save JFK. I mean, that was the right thing. And it was
the only thing that I wish there was more of, and I think the story was so long that he couldn't add more, was that little bit of time that he spent when he went back and the world had changed so much after he had saved JFK and it was so dark.
Yes.
But we didn't really have a lot of information about how bad it was. It just seemed like he was in a bad borough of New York on a bad neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like, it almost seemed, I don't know. I couldn't really understand how bad it really was. I mean,
maybe he didn't want to go there. Maybe he didn't want to speculate too much, or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I kind of wish that we would know a little bit more.
I do too. I wanted to know more about that time for sure, because every single little nuance about it, I was looking for everything that was, just anything that would tell you about. But he did somehow, get that person that he met, because I know who it is, but I can't remember the name. But anyway, it was the guy. It was the guy. Yeah, terrible.
Harry Dunning. Yeah. It was Harry Dunning.
Yes.
The janitor.
So I kept thinking that. He did get quite a lot of information out of him, considering that he just came back and had popped into this guy's life out of nowhere, asking all these crazy questions, and the guy just told him, instead of, which was good. I mean,
but that was interesting too. That time kind of put him back in his path.
Yeah.
I thought it was also interesting that no matter what happened, Harry Dunning, the first time he died obviously he lost his whole family. Right. And when Jake went back and saved them, then he died in Vietnam. But then when he reset it, wasn't there a third time that he tried? And he hadn't. Oh, maybe it was when he talked about him in the future. He didn't die in Vietnam. I can't remember. There was a third storyline for Harry, but now I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember either.
Anyway, okay. Well, okay, let's talk about the yellow card man. That, blew my mind. I had to really struggle through that.
Yes.
Even at the end, I was like, I kind of get it. It was like the timekeeper or whatever.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I agreed with how that particular part of the story was written. I still don't. I don't know.
Yeah. Let's see what everybody else has to say. It was a weird post-apocalyptic reality, yes. The people had to wear masks and they were getting sores from the toxic air. Yeah. Who is he man? Who was the yellow card man? I think it was just a timekeeper. They were men who tried to keep both sets of reality together, but I think every time that Al came back and forth, he was stretching it further and further away, and he was killing the yellow card man slowly every time he would come back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. That's right. He did kill the father at the cemetery. But somehow, he told the sister, tell your brother to be careful, or tell your brother not to sign up for the war. I don't know. There was something about Harry Dunham, now I can't remember what it was, but we didn't know if he died in Vietnam, like when he reset it the last time or not. Okay, anything else that we want to talk about in terms of this book? Any other characters? I thought the whole Derry, Indiana thing was interesting with the whole Dunning's family and watching the father, Harry Dunning's father, at the meat market, and how like outgoing he was and personable. I loved that he met the teens who were dancing. I loved, I liked that, but the town definitely did feel very dark and sinister, and that was
that's where you know Stephen King sets most of his books, because that's where he grew up.
How about that? Really?
Yeah, because I think that's where you guys who are super Stephen King fans can please correct me, but Derry is, I think it's like where he grew up, and so like it takes place in Derry, so it's always involved in his books in some way.
So that could be, when he was talking about the children were missing and all of that, that could be little hints from past books. Interesting, because also the book we're going to talk about next, Mary Kay Andrews, also kind of reverts back to one of her old books in that Bright Lights Big City.
Oh,
so
cool.
I love when authors do that. If you've watched, if you've read several of their books. So is there anybody else we want to talk about in terms of, there was a question about this. I saw I printed up some discussion questions, and I saw one that I thought was interesting. Let me see if I can find it. It talked about Al, and he did think that Al had committed, it says, do you agree that with Jake that Al committed suicide just because he was in so much pain, he took all those pills, because he knew that Jake would have second thoughts?
I think he was just ready to go. That's just my opinion. Because he kept talking about being in pain, and I think he was just ready to go. That's what I think.
He had to Jake and he was done.
Yeah, I think he just kind of said, hey, this dude sounds great. Let's move on to him. Let's let it, now it's on him, because I think he was just tired and he was in pain. But I could be wrong. I think that it's open to interpretation. So,
I didn't realize this, because I thought I had listened to the afterword, but this says, in the afterword, Stephen King tells us that his son came up with the book's new and better ending. You can read the original ending on his site here. So so interesting. If you wanted to get more into that book, I guess there's a different, maybe Stephen King wrote a different ending and his son, I don't know which one was the right one. But
baby,
interesting.
You gotta keep going. No, there's not enough room at the end, baby. Keep going. Okay.
Yeah, Sherry, I agree. I think he was just tired and in pain. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Who got through all the way 11/22/63? Let me know. Jelly bean, that's jelly bean, right?
That's jelly bean, yeah. And that was Scout who was trying to come up. I'm sure he wants a snack. They never ask Dad for snacks. They always come and ask me.
So quite a few, several of you got through the book. That's great.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to come on the screen or talk about anything else about 11/22/63? Did it make you want to read some more Stephen King? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Like, talk to us in the comments. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, if you want to come on and give your opinion, we can bring you on. Just let me know. I'm going to, let me go over here and click the invite button.
And that's what I really liked about this book club is we've read so many books that I never would have read before. I never would have read this one.
Yeah.
Never. Because I would have just said Stephen King scary, don't want to read it. I didn't even know. When I first saw that was the pick, I was like, what? We're reading a Stephen King book? What are you talking about? But yeah, Leah says she wants to read more. That's awesome.
Yes, I did put the link in the chat, so if you want to come in, just click on that and you can come on in. That link is going to go to both of our YouTube channels. I do not know if that link will come up on Facebook, just to let y'all know. But if you're on either of our YouTube channels and you would like to come onto the Zoom call and tell everyone how you felt, go ahead and click that link and we'll let you in. Alexandra, I'm so happy to see you say that. She says she loves that it took her out of her comfort zone. And honestly, that's what, in my opinion, that's what a book club should be about. If you want to just read only the books that you've always ever read, then, you know, maybe I'm not saying don't be in the book club. I really don't. But what I would encourage you to do is to push that a little bit, because that's the whole point of getting, into a book club, is because it'll introduce you to things that maybe you still won't like, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But you might find something that you can really love, which I'm very happy. And I think KRISTY and I have both said this, because I had read Stephen King before, and I didn't like him at the time for whatever reason, and she wasn't gonna read any of his books just because she's not into horror. I didn't know he didn't write other stuff, or that he wrote other types of genres. I had no idea. So I think it was great that we read this book, because we both loved it, which was great.
I also wanted to say, I just popped over to Facebook, and I don't remember who you said hi to, but I just want to say hi, Lynn. Hi, Nikki. And of course, you said hi to your mom. Miss Linda, how's everybody doing? So I just wanted to pop over and see what participation we were having over there in case we were missing anything.
Awesome.
You might be able to see it, but I can't.
Well, okay, that's true. You won't.
Yeah. So let's in between these two books, let's just do a reminder of our January picks. You have two books to choose from. You can read both of them, or you can read one of them. When we threw, or a bunch of you suggested the books, I saw a lot of people would say, oh, I loved this book, but I already read it, or I love this book and I already read it. So I kind of made the executive decision, and I think I ran it by you, Yvette, and I said,
so glad you did.
Let's just do two books, because I kind of want to read both of them, and that way the people who have read the one can read the other, and vice versa.
Yep.
So the first one is Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors, which both Yvette and I have both read. Real good.
Yes.
Real good.
I just finished it maybe a week ago, and you guys are going to love it.
At the same time. Yeah.
I think we did read it at the same time. Yeah.
So if you are looking for something good, I highly recommend that. I have not read, I think Yvette has started the second one, which is Lisa Jewell's None of This Is True.
Yes.
I have got it from Book of the Month, but I gotta find it because it's not here on my bookshelf, so it must be in my on my desk in there. But you said you were liking it so far. Is that right?
Yes, I am really liking it so far. Now, I don't feel like I've gotten into it enough that I really know what's going on. I think I'm probably only like about 7 or 8 chapters in. But it's very intriguing so far. So,
Okay, I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard people love it, and I've heard people were like, about it. So I'm going to read them. But you have a choice. You do not have to read both. We will review both on January. What day did I schedule that? Do you guys remember?
Let me see.
27th. I think it was the 27th.
Okay. That sounds right.
It's January 28th. January 28th.
Okay. The Sunday, right?
Yeah, Sunday, January 28th. So, has anybody started reading any of those books yet? I'm going to go back over to the Facebook group. I've got my computer in my lap, and so I can see the Facebook comments.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I'm going to go over there, too.
Oh, okay, Alexandra. Okay, without giving too much information, Alexandra, what are you thinking of Rock, Paper, Scissors so far? Oh, Leah. Oh, okay. Leah says she loved it. Oh, Estelle is loving Rock, Paper, Scissors. I love Rock, Paper, Scissors. Finished Rock, Paper, Scissors, and I loved it. I'm getting ready to read None of This Is True. I'm in your boat, Sherry, so we'll probably be reading it about the same time. I'm in the middle of reading something I'll tell you about in just a second.
Now, I listened to Rock, Paper, Scissors. And what I want to say... Oh, wait a minute. Going back to Stephen King, because the Rainbow Turned Galaxy just popped this up there and says, dairy is fake. Stephen King made it up. Stephen King has low yellow men in his books. I'm not sure what that means. So I think he likes yellow, as in the yellow card man. Okay. But so maybe dairy is like supposed to be based on where he grew up. I don't know why, but for some reason I thought it was either where he grew up or if it's fake then. But I know he uses dairy in like a lot of his books.
Okay.
So I thought that was a real place for some reason, but
cool.
But that's good to know. There you go.
I love when authors just keep a thread through all of their books.
I do too.
I really like that, especially if you're a fan of them and you're reading, all of them, even if they're out of order. I think that's really, really fun.
Yes.
So it looks like you guys are liking both of the books, the ones that you are. Okay, Sherry says she's loving None of This Is True. Hope the ending doesn't disappoint. I hope so too. So, just FYI, get ready, because in, what is that, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? How far is that away? We're gonna be quick on the January heels.
I think it's 3 weeks.
Okay, so let's talk about, before we get into Mary Kay Andrews, let's talk about February. How are you guys feeling? Do we it's the month of love. Do we wanna try romance? Do we wanna do a theme? Tell me what you're thinking for. Do we want to try? Well, we've done historical fiction. What genre?
Sherry says romance.
Romance. That's going to be outside my comfort zone a little bit, but I can do it.
It's out my comfort zone too, but I'll do it.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking we're going to do a romance, because I like that we're doing different genres.
Yes, I do too.
Romance.
Okay.
So, can you, when we're done, Yvette, can you just throw up a thing asking for suggestions?
Yes. And you guys, I'm gonna just take 2 minutes, because I know that KRISTY, I want to say thank you to you for coming on a few weeks ago with the video talking about the things that were going on, and I want to in person apologize to you guys about the way things got left hanging. Our lives just went crazy, okay, and that doesn't excuse it. It really doesn't, and we both acknowledge that. But things have changed, quite drastically. And, if I'm being completely honest with you guys right now, the way that my life has changed is probably going to change the way I'm going to have to go back to living my life. I mean, I'm not going to be able to just travel at the drop of a hat, which I was really enjoying, to be honest. And so planning something to do with a book club, that's going to have to be something that is going to be a huge plan, for going forward, because for 2024, I already have 3 big things that were planned before I had to go and get a job. And so because of that, probably not a whole lot of time I'm going to have to be able to just drop everything and go places, which can I be selfish and say that, I really enjoyed the time that Kristy and I got to spend together, just her and I, because we don't get to do stuff like that. And I'm already reminiscent of it. And, I'm having to put on big girl panties now and go back to work. And I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to do stuff like that. But you know what? It's happened to so many people. And so, no, it is what it is. So nobody has to feel sorry for me or anything. It's just, nobody has to feel sorry for either of us. But it's not what I expected. It's just not. I kind of thought that it was going to work all out, and then it just didn't work all out, and oh well, So I think that Kristy and I both still would love to do the book club get-together thing, but I don't know that I personally would be able to do that in 2024. I'm just being honest. I've got the 2 retreats that, as it is, I'm going to have to find a job where I'm going to say, look, I have these 2 things coming up and there is no way I can get out of it. That's it. Period. And I don't want to get out of it. It's the only 2 times I'm ever going to be able to do it again, and then I'm probably going to be done. I already have a quilt con planned, so that's a number 3 in 2024, and I probably won't be able to do anything else. I don't know, But anyway, I'm going to try to be getting back on a schedule. So now that Kristy and I are both going to have pretty set schedule lives, hopefully we can get back to this. And with you guys saying that you can help us being moderators, that's going to be so amazing.
Yeah, free fun.
Yes.
Helping us.
Yeah, so,
okay.
Yay. Okay.
Thank you.
Move
so
on.
We do romance February.
Yes.
Our 1-year anniversary will be in March. That was our very first book club pick, right?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, because we did an Irish theme.
Yes.
So what do we want to do? Obviously, we can go back and do an Irish theme. We can do something, I don't know. Think about what you'd like to see in March.
Yes, and go into the Facebook page and give us some ideas of what you think we should do for March. I will make sure that I get something started for February tonight after we're done, so that we can get a head start.
Just put make book suggestions,
yes.
And I can take over from there.
Okay.
And we can I'll pick them and do a poll. Romantasy, I like it. But when she puts it up there, Alexandra. Yeah, I would do a romantasy. I love it. That's a mix. So
yes.
Anyway, maybe we do a fantasy type book in March. I don't really know. That would be out of my comfort. Well, no, I don't think it'd be out of my comfort zone. Anyway, think about March and think about what you guys want to do. I know everybody seems to really like the mysteries, which is what we're doing in January with those 2 books.
Yep.
And so I don't know if every other month we should just stick with a mystery and then every other month do a theme. I don't really know. So y'all tell us what you're thinking about that. I think that's all the admin stuff.
Well, you know what? Maybe we'll see how it goes in January with the 2 books, and maybe that's something we keep up. A whole month, I can read a slew of books. So reading 2 is not a big deal. I would be happy. Yeah.
Okay. Let's get into Mary Kay Andrews' book, and then I want to talk about some books that I have been reading. I want to hear what you guys have been reading other than book club books, because I have been on a reading tear. I've been reading everything that's not held down. So I want to talk about that. An Irish mystery. Okay, Estelle, I like the way you think. Okay, so So, you like that idea? I love a good good challenge. I like a challenge too. I have to say it. There's not been one book this whole year that I haven't liked that we've read.
Me neither.
What about you guys? I liked them all. All right, let's talk Mary Kay Andrews. You know she's my lady.
Yes.
She's my hand. She's my friend. I promoted her book on Instagram, and she like messaged me back, and I was like, "Don't fangirl." I was like, "Don't." I was like, "Oh, thank you."
I would have been freaking out.
Funny. So, did y'all read Bright Lights Big Christmas? Because if you didn't, you missed out.
I read it.
It was fun.
I read it.
It's the easiest, fastest, sweetest, hallmarky type of book.
It was all those things. It was all those things. Yes.
Yeah, I put it made into a movie, actually. I would love to have that made into a movie. I think it would be perfect. Anyway,
I thought it was really cute, and just like you said, it was simple. It was just a lovely little story. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Fast speed, sweet characters. I fell in love with every one of those characters.
I have to say, I wasn't expecting what happened with I'm going to say the homeless man, because that's how he kind of came across in the beginning. I wasn't expecting what we got, though.
Yeah, I kind of was, I have to say. I kind of was thinking he was a big wig somewhere.
Yeah.
I thought the tree farm aspect was really interesting, and I wonder if those little tree farms really, if that's something that really happens, that they go from North Carolina to New York City, or if it's more like corporately owned. Because
I have no idea.
They're always like a lot of the same companies, like Big John's or something.
Yeah.
That they're on like street corner or whatever. So I wonder if that was it. I love that it was lighthearted. I think it was the perfect December book club, because it was easy to put down, it was easy to pick up. It was, fluffy and, Yep.
I thought it was really good for Christmas.
It's a little bit more fluffy than her normal books. A lot of times she's got like a mystery or a girl who's down on her luck kind of type. And she did a little bit with Carrie, was a little bit down on her luck. But usually it's a little different. But I loved it. And I love... If you haven't read The Santa Suit, which was her last Christmas book, I think it was from 2 years ago, she wove a little bit of that. The town that was from is the city in North Carolina that Tolliver's Tree Farm comes from, which I thought, so it was the same.
Okay.
And if you haven't read that one, it's really cute too, and it's kind of fluffy and easy to read. But she kind of left that string through there.
Yeah. Sherry did not care for Murphy. I have to say, I kind of didn't care for him very much myself, but I wasn't really sure. By the time it got to the end where he was like going on the date, and then I'll be honest, I don't really understand that whole thing, because if he was like dating this lady, was he already dating her like every year, or was that, I don't understand why they didn't get together before that. Did you pick up on that?
They did, because she would go in and give him food and let him use the bathroom. So I think there was a relationship there. I don't know that it was like a permanent one. It was just like, if you're not doing anything, I'm not doing anything, maybe we'll do something together.
Gotcha.
I liked Murphy. I feel like Murphy's a little bit like my brother. He's very, I don't know, they're very similar. They're like, we'll get things done. Know a lot of people, make relationships, but they don't make a big deal about it. Kind of tough. Murphy was hard in the beginning, but I think he just grew up with his dad. He didn't have his mom as much. I mean, his mom lived in the same town, but I just think he was just raised a little different. He was always outside, and the tree farm business was make or break that year. You know, they had the frost, was as many trees, and I think he just had the weight of their family business on his shoulders, which made it hard. I gotta tell you though, as cute as that little tin RV or whatever sounded like. I could not have been in there with no shower and no bath.
No, there's no way. And see, I think that I kept trying to cut him a little bit of slack, because I get that, you know, but everything that happened, and that it seemed like it happened like at the last minute kind of thing. But at the same time, I kind of thought that because of all of that he could have cut her a little more slack, because she had not had the experience with doing all that. And that's kind of a lot for a girl to have to do, not being sexist or anything, but, you know, going in, like, now she's going to be in this little tin can, and she doesn't have a bathroom, and she doesn't have, you know, she's supposed to just come on in there and pick up the slack of her dad, who's been doing it every year. And she, you know, so I don't know, that was my kind of thing, where I get where he, you know, maybe feels like the whole weight's on his shoulders, but at the same time, she did step up, you know, so he could have been a little nicer to her.
Yeah, I think he was just so used to he and his dad, and guys and doing it. He probably had to worry more about his sister being there too. I totally get it. Yeah.
And then to me it was like, even, I don't know how I would have been, and I'm like an extrovert, okay? But if some lady had like come up to me and, oh, here's my keys, just go on up, use my apartment, I'd have been all like, okay, all right. I would have been a little freaked out.
So many years, because she remembered going to New York as a little girl and meeting the owners of the diner's grandma or mother or whatever to take care of her. And so I guess they had just built that relationship over time for so long, and they would give, you know, those owners the Christmas trees or the discounts or the or that. I thought that was really
I did really like that, though. I did like how it was all sort of like a sense of camaraderie there. I know, you know, and like that whole thing, I did like that. And they were like going to feed them and all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I love sweet little Austin, the little boy. How could you not love him, and his dad Patrick?
I know.
That was really, really sweet too. I like that she ended up staying in New York, and that it worked out with, I can't remember the old man's name. What was his name?
I know, I can't remember either. The only reason I knew Murphy is because somebody else said it on the thing. I was like, oh, thank goodness somebody else said his name. And then I knew exactly who she meant, though, because I felt the same way. So I'm glad she said Murphy. But, and I'm glad you said Austin, because I wouldn't have remembered that either. You know me with names. That hasn't changed at all. But, yeah. My thing is that I have to let go when I'm reading like Mary Kay Andrews, or anybody really who does like the little romance novels like that. I'm such a cynic. I can't get past they've known each other for 2 seconds and all of a sudden she's moving to New York to be with I don't know why, but it's always in my head where I'm going, oh yeah, this is real. But I liked the story. I really did.
She wasn't going to stay in New York. She was going home, but when she was able to work for the old man, and they wrote that story, that gave her the end to be able to stay, because she could have moved in with him and she didn't. She stayed, you know, the old man had that little efficiency apartment. And
which I'm glad they did that. Yes, because that helped. That did help.
Yeah, big town, small fields. I totally agree. I think it was the perfect December book when everybody is just so busy. It was, you know, and didn't have a lot of extra time. I know I didn't have a lot of extra time. It was nice. Mr. Hines, that's him. I love the stories that they built every day, and the dragons and the bad guys across the street, which I'm sure that does happen in New York.
I'm sure. Rival. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, especially whenever they start seeing that someone's, you know, having some success, they're going to go and try to get a piece of that. I'm sure that was very true.
Yeah.
Heinz Schoenbaum.
I did kind of like that Patrick bought. I can't remember what they called the little RV. It had a name. What was its name?
Yeah, I can't remember what they called it. Hold on, I'll go. I'm online. Let's see if I can find this.
But I like that Patrick bought it and was going to kind of restore it and keep it, you know. So maybe eventually it will stay in. Oh, Spammy, that's right. Spammy.
That's it.
That they can stay Oliver family. If Carrie marries Patrick, you know, then they'll still have Spammy.
Right.
But that was just crazy. I did like the little influx of like the modern day with the influencer who like sold out their Christmas trees.
Oh my gosh, that was hilarious.
I know, that was so funny. I was cracking up.
That was good.
Like, can you imagine sitting there in the freezing cold all day selling these Christmas trees, and that poor little high school kid on the bike that was delivering the trees?
Oh my goodness, right?
Yeah, that kid was making bank.
Right? Oh my goodness.
Crazy.
That was pretty funny. And she started doing the wreaths, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked that too. I like that she added a little bit to the bottom line of the company.
Yeah. Well, I think after that, her brother sort of started coming around, you know, a little bit, because he was like, you know, where'd you go? And she's like, oh, I had to go get this stuff, you know, like to do the wreaths. And he's like, whoa, what's that going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, bam, 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 she's selling wreaths.
Yeah, decorating people's houses too. She started, you know, decorating trees, which I thought was good. She was pretty smart.
Yep, absolutely. So that was good for her. I liked the book. Yeah. I thought it was really good. I really liked
I thought it was a fluffy December book. It was everything I wanted for December, because I didn't watch any Hallmark Christmas movies this year, so it was very unlike me. So I think that was my fix, I guess. Okay, anybody else wants, yeah, she made big money making those wreaths. You're right, Alexandra. Anything else anybody wants to talk about with Bright Lake's Big Christmas? Let me know.
Well, I think, Sherry, that she could make that kind of money in New York. I mean, in New York City, everything is just so expensive, and that's probably why they went there, you know, because they can get that kind of money for the trees, the wreaths. People are running around.
Like some of those trees, did they say like one of those trees was like $800 or $1,000 or something?
I thought, wasn't there one that was like $1,800? Because it was like,
yeah, but it's 5 of them or something. But I was like, darn.
Yeah. I believe it. I could totally believe it. I believe that you could get that kind of money in New York City and near New York City, like in that little corner of Connecticut and New Jersey. Those people have that kind of money. So yeah, you know, they'll spend it. It's worth it to them because they don't have the time. That was why she found those people who wanted her to come over and decorate their house. Yeah, because they didn't have the time to do it themselves, and they liked what she was doing. I totally could see that happening. So
yeah. That's crazy.
Cool. So anybody?
Right, so they're almost are after. Yeah, nobody in North Carolina is going to pay that. That's true. So yeah, that probably is why they go to. They have low overhead because they stay in Spammy and
right.
You know, they just suck it up for a month. I guess I get that. Just crazy though. All right, we're almost right at our hour, so let's just do a quick couple minutes of. Has anybody read anything they want to recommend to the group? Let us know in the comments. I know I was telling Yvette just a few minutes ago before we started. This is an older book, and it's been on my radar, but I just hadn't read it. I read The Housemaid. So good. Is that Frida McFadden? I think that's Frida. Is that Frida McFadden that read that? I think it is. So I read The Housemaid, love it, and then I immediately started reading The Housemaid's Secret.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure I love much. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure if I love it as much. I love it, but I'm not sure if I love it as much. But I definitely recommend The Housemaid if you haven't read it. You just finished The Four Winds. Loved it. You loved it, Sherry? Oh, I don't know if I can say I love that one. That was a hard one for me.
Yeah.
I think of how sad it was. I do love Kristen Hanna, whatever his name. Yeah, The Housemaid was it was really good. I loved that book. So if you're looking for something good.
Okay, so you read both of them, The Housemaid and The Housemaid's Secret.
Well, I'm in the middle of The Housemaid's Secret.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm probably about halfway through. So I'm not sure. Ooh, The Stranger Upstairs. It was good, but wasn't it? Did I get that one? I don't think I have that one.
I've never heard of that one, The Stranger Upstairs.
I think I've heard about it, but I don't have it, I don't think. Yes, I love the writing too, Sherry. It's just the story was so hard.
Yeah, she's a great writer. I liked The Four Winds too. I really did. I liked it. I read it and I liked it, but
I struggled.
It was sad. It was sad. I'll give you that.
It did make me go and study a little bit, read up on that time frame and the Dust Bowl, because I've heard a lot and read a lot about the Depression, because that's when my grandparents grew up and they talked about growing up in that era, and they were in like the Kentucky sort of back hills and hollers, but I hadn't heard it from the perspective, and I don't really remember. I mean, I guess I remember reading like a paragraph in a textbook when I was in school, but I don't remember really studying the Dust Bowl. So I didn't really have a lot of information about that one. So it did make me go and kind of read up on it. But anyway.
But that was a crazy hard time. I can't imagine that you could possibly write something that would be, real happy about the time, because that was hard times,
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Well, Sherry, you'll have to let me know what you think of The Housemaid. I loved it. And then I'll have to know what I think about The Housemaid's Secret. It's just different than I was expecting it, because when The Housemaid ends off where you think you know where the story's going to start with The Housemaid's Secret, and it doesn't. So it's interesting. I don't know if they're going to circle back onto that. They kind of do a little bit, but it'll be interesting to see. Anyway.
Huh, okay.
When you have that dust coming, you can't even see like your hand in front of your face. It's just, and the dust is just everywhere.
I couldn't even imagine. Couldn't even imagine.
Ooh, I haven't heard of that one either. The Other Mothers. Is that like a mystery? That sounds interesting. I'm gonna go over to Facebook and make sure let me see what everybody's saying over there.
Oh yeah, I was over there and I got out for looking at something else.
Okay,
I need to go back in.
Okay, no more comments. If you're on Facebook, hey girl, hi. You guys, we're four.
That's why.
People wed for 500 members, which is crazy.
I don't know why, but Facebook will not allow me to accept people into groups anymore. I don't know what happened. Like, even in my own group, I have to go and tell my mom to go and let people in, because it won't, I don't know what's going on. And I tried sending them a message, and like nothing, so.
I just let 7 people in the other day.
Good. I'm glad you're able to let them in, because I can go in and see them there, but I can't do anything. I don't know why.
Let's see. The Stranger Upstairs. What is it? There's a heart right in front of the name of that book. What is the book? The something wild?
The Vaster Wilds.
Wilds.
V like Victor.
Right over there.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would be interested to read that Matthew Perry book.
Yeah, I think I want to read it too. I had been thinking about that a while, like when it first came out, and I didn't read it. And I want to read it though, for sure.
Alexandra, I see your kitties in your profile pic. Aren't they so cute? I love it. So the Vaster Wilds, I haven't heard about that one. All right, guys. Well, Yvette, have you been reading anything else?
I did read some other books. I read, but y'all know I read like murder mysteries and stuff like that. So the last thing that I read that was not true crime was I Know Where You Live by Greg Olson. And that's Greg with 2 G's at the end. I don't know why he spells it that way, but, you know, his mama did that to him. I also read No Second Chance by Harlan Coben, if you guys read that. I read She Started It by Sheehan Gilbert. I don't know if I'm saying that name right. So I have been reading a few books.
I think I have She Started It.
That was from one of the book clubs that you were in. So
the book of the month. I think it was book of the month because I think I might have got that one too.
Yep. So I read that. I read a book called Allegedly by Tiffany D. Jackson, which I thought was pretty good. And that one is, I think it was written as a young adult book, but it was definitely not a children's book. Not in a, you know, it just, there was subject matter in it that I think was related to young adults, but to young adults in a way that we make kids grow up too fast, kind of a thing. So it's definitely, you could read the book, and it's not for children. It's not like it's a kid's book, is what I'm saying.
I like YA books.
Yeah, and I thought it was really good. It's called Allegedly, and I'm telling you, by the time that book ended, I was like, whoa. I did not expect how that book ended, and I was kind of surprised, to be honest. But I probably shouldn't have been surprised, considering the subject matter. So I thought it was a really good read. So if you're interested in stuff like that. Linda says, I'm reading Being Henry, The Fawns and Beyond by Henry Winkler.
I bet that's a good one. Hey.
Oh, Teresa Louise must be in here. Hi, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
Alexandra says, Osiris just turned 3 yesterday. Is that her cat? Dog?
Oh, it's cat.
Okay. Osiris and Firefly. I love the names. Very nice.
Oh, too. I love those names.
Okay.
On Facebook. So, do y'all like us on YouTube better? Or do you want to try Facebook? Or should we just keep it, now that we know we can go live, I guess we can just keep it on all 3 platforms.
Yeah, we could leave it in all 3 places. If you guys are, you can go wherever and watch. It's up to you. Estelle says, I read The Running Grave by Robert Galbraith. And that's J.K. Rowling's mystery pen name. Oh. I had no idea she had a mystery pen name. Okay.
I didn't either.
Okay.
So you guys, make sure that you go over and suggest a romance. I know it's going to be out of some of our comfort zones, but we're going to get through it.
Yes,
as
we will.
usual.
Yep, we'll get through it. Okay, cool. So I'll go set something up, and so that you guys can come and put your suggestions there, and then Kristy will pick it up from there, and we'll do the vote and get February done. And then also don't forget to let us know what you would like the genre to be for March, and we can get started on that too.
Sounds good. All right, and don't forget, mark your calendars for January the 28th at 8:30 p.m. and we will review None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell and Rock, Paper, Scissors by, I just went right out of my head.
Uh-oh.
Who's that by?
Alice Feeney.
Alex Feeney, thank you.
Don't ask me where I got that from, because, oh my goodness, I'm patting myself right now. I'm like, what?
I do love Alice Feeney. She wrote Daisy Darker, didn't she?
I think so, yes.
I think she did, yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, you guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night, you guys. It's good seeing y'all again.
Bye.
Oh, I was in the wrong spot.